You have to make candy today, Essie. It's such a hot day.
Yes, but Ed went out and got all those new orders.
Oh my! I suppose if it keeps on, you'll be opening up a shop.
That's what Ed said, but I said no. I want to be a dancer.
The only trouble with dancing is that it takes too long.
Only 8 years. After all, Mother, you've been writing plays for that long. We started the same time, didn't we?
Yes, but you can't count my first 2 years because I was learning to type.
I wish the candy is hard enough now, Miss Essie.
Thanks, Reba. I'm going to bring some in for you, Mother. I want you to try it.
Finish the second act, Mrs. Sycamore?
What, Reba?
I said, did you finish the second act?
Oh no, I just got Cynthia entering a monastery.
She was at the Kit Kat, wasn't she?
Yes, but she gets tired of the Kit Kat Club, and then there's this monastery, so she goes there.
Do they let her in?
Why, yes, I made it Visitor's Day, so of course anybody can come.
Oh.
So, she goes to the monastery on Visitor's Day and stays.
You mean she stayed all night?
Why, yes, she stayed 6 years.
6 years? My, I bet she bust that monastery wide open.
6 years later.
Mr. DePinna! Yeah? Mr. DePinna, can you bring up one of the new skyrockets, please? I want to show them to Miss Sycamore.
Sure. Look, Penny, what do you think of these little firecrackers we just made? We can sell them 10 strings for a cent. Listen. Nice, huh?
Yes, that sounds lovely. Did you do all that today?
Sure, we made up. Oh, here we are. Look, Penny, costs us 18 cents to make, and we sell them for 50. How many more do you figure we can make before the 4th of July, Mr. DePinna?
Well, we've got 2 weeks yet. What day do you plan on bringing them down to Mount Vernon?
About a week. You know, we're going to need a larger booth this year. We've got a lot of stuff made up.
Mr. Sycamore, I'm afraid the powder chamber is just a little too close to the balloon.
Well, we got the stars and the bombs in between.
That'll give the balloon enough time. The balloon needs plenty of time.
Come on, come on. Let's go down in the cellar and try it.
All right.
Mr. DePinna, if a girl you loved entered a monastery, what would you do?
I don't know, Mrs. Sycamore. It's been so long.
Is Miss Alice going to be home for dinner tonight, Mrs. Sycamore?
I don't know, Reba. Maybe.
Well, I'll set a place for her, but she's only been home one night.
Yes, I know.
So, let's see. We have 6. And Mr. Glencoff. And if Mr. Pinna comes, that makes 8. Don't it? Yes, I'd better set for 8.
You know, Reba, I think I'll put this play away for a while and go back to the war play.
The war play? I always liked that one. Boom! Boom!
They'll be better when they're harder, Mother. But try one. I want to know what you think.
They look lovely. What do you call them?
I think that I'm going to call them Love Dreams.
That's nice. Essie, I'm going back to the war play. What do you think?
Really?
Yes, I sort of got myself stuck in a monastery and I can't get out.
Oh, it'll come to you. Remember how you got out of that brothel? The snakes look hungry. Did Reba feed them?
I don't know. Reba, have you fed the snakes yet?
No, Donald's coming, and he always brings flies with him.
Well, make sure they're fed before Grandpa gets home. You know how fussy he is about them.
Yes,
Oh, and here, take Hart, Bo, and Troupe into the kitchen with you.
I just washed my hands, Mrs.
I'll
Sycamore.
take them.
Thank you, Essie. Believe I'll have another love drink.
Mr. DePinna was right about the balloon. It was too close to the powder.
Would you like a love drink, Father? They're on the table.
No, thanks. I gotta wash.
Paul, dear, I'm going back to the war play.
Oh, that's nice. What putting some red stars after the bombs, and then the balloon. That ought to do it.
Did you know that Mr. Cooley says I'm his most promising pupil?
You think with 40 monks and one girl that something would happen?
Essie! Essie! Essie!
I like that, Ed. Did you write it?
No, Beethoven.
Oh, well, it's got a lot of you in it. Can you take those new candies around tonight?
Yeah. All right. Now this is the end, and this is me. How's that?
That's fine, Ed.
Ed, dear, why don't you and Essie have a baby?
I don't know. Why don't we have a baby? What do you say, Essie? Do you want to have a baby with me?
I don't really care. I'm willing if Grandpa is.
Let's ask him.
Labor play, religious play, sex play. I know it's here someplace.
I was right about the balloon. It was too close to the tower.
Mr. Japenna, do you need anything printed tonight? I'm ready to print some more.
Oh, no thanks. I've still got the first 1,000 calls.
Well, call on someone, will you?
All right.
Say, what's the menu tonight, Reba? I'm ready to print the menu.
Let's see. Cornflakes, watermelon, some of those candies Miss Essie made, and some kind of meat. I forget.
Well, I think I'll set it up in bold-faced Shetland ham. And if I'm going to take some of Essie's candies around tonight, I better come up with some descriptive matter after dinner.
Ed, do you think anybody reads those things? That you put the candy boxes, I mean. Aha! Here it is. Poison gas. That must be Donald. Look at Reba smile.
The boyfriend, eh, Reba?
They're awfully cute. Reba and Donald sort of like Romeo and Juliet.
Reba!
Donald!
Evening, everybody.
Hi, Donald. How you been?
I'm pretty good, Ed. How you been, Miss Sycamore?
Very good. Donald,
Yes, ma'am.
were you ever in a monastery?
No, I don't go no place much. I'm on relief.
Ah, yes.
Here's those slides, Reba. Oh, been messing today.
You sure did.
I see you've been working, Miss Sycamore.
Yes, indeed, Donald.
How's Grandpa?
Very well. He's over at Columbia, the commencement exercises.
My. The years certainly do roll around.
M-E-A-T. Say, what does Grandpa go there all the time for anyways?
It's just so handy, just around the corner.
Oh, Donald, Mr. DePin and I are taking the fireworks up to Mount Vernon in the morning. Do you think you could give us a hand?
Yes, sir. Only thing is, I can't take no money for it this year. Because if the government finds out I'm working, they'll get sore.
Oh. Ed, I got a wonderful idea in the bathroom just now. I was reading Trotsky. It's yours, isn't it?
Yeah, I left it there.
Who is it?
You know, Trotsky, the Russian Revolution.
Oh,
Anyhow, it gave me a great fireworks idea. Do you remember the last days of Pompeii?
oh yes, Palisades Park. That's where we met.
Well, I'm going to do the revolution, a full-hour display.
Say,
Oh, that's wonderful.
The red fire is the flag, huh?
Sure, and the Tsar and the Cossacks?
and Alamo.
No, Donald, the Russian Revolution.
Well, sir, you should have been there.
Hello, Grandpa.
That's all I can say is, you should have been there.
Was it a nice commencement, Grandpa?
Oh, wonderful. They get better every year. You don't know how lucky you are, you're snakes.
Was the class big this year, Grandpa? How many were there?
Oh, must have been about 2 acres. Everybody graduated. Much funnier speeches this year, too.
You want to listen to a good speech? You go over and hear Father Divine.
I'll wait, Donald. They'll have him at Columbia.
Oh, Donald, will you tell Reba that Grandpa is home and we won't wait for Miss Alice?
Yes, ma'am. Reba, Grandpa's home. We can have dinner.
We made a new rocket today, Grandpa. Wait till you see it.
Evening, Grandpa.
Evening, Mr. DePena.
Didn't we make a fine rocket today, Mr. DePena?
We certainly did.
Wonder why they don't have any fireworks at commencement.
Oh, don't make enough noise. You take a good commencement order, and he will drown out an entire carload of fireworks. Say just as much, too.
Graduates ever say anything, Grandpa?
No, they just sit there in their caps and nightgowns and, along about 40 years, wake up and say, "Where am I?"
Hello, Grandpa. Did you have a nice day?
Well, hello, have a nice day. Don't I ever get kissed?
Excuse me.
Ooh, I'll take a tomato, too. You know, Paul, I could have used a couple of these today.
Father?
No thanks.
Mother?
No thanks, dear.
Oh, play something, Ed.
Okay,
There was a letter that came for you today. Did you get it?
Letter for me? I don't know anybody.
It was for you, though. It had your name on it.
Really? Where is it?
I don't know. Mother, where's that letter that came for Grandpa?
What?
The letter that came for Grandpa. Where is it?
I don't know. Oh, I saw the kittens on it.
Did you happen to see who it was from?
Yeah, it was on the outside.
Well, who was it?
The United States government.
Oh, I wonder what they wanted.
I don't know, but there was a letter that came before that, too. There were a couple of them.
Well, if any more come, I wish you'd give them to me.
Yes, Grandpa.
You know, I think tomorrow I'm going to go down to Westchester and do some snake hunting.
God is the snake. The snake is God.
What's that?
God is the snake. The snake is God.
Who says that?
Trotsky.
Oh, well, that's all right. I thought you said it.
God is the state, and the state is God. Say, that's nice for printing, you know. Good and short. G-O-D space. Space.
And so, the beautiful princess entered the palace, and she kissed her mother, her father, and her grandfather.
Oh, hello, darling.
Hello, Grandpa. And what do you think? They turned into the Sycamore family. Surprise!
Alice, I like it.
Do you?
It's new, isn't it?
Looks nice and summery.
Where did you get it?
Oh, I took a walk during lunch hour.
You've been taking a lot of walks lately.
I just like to brighten up the office every once in a while. I'm known as the K. Francis of Kirby and Company. So, what's new around here? In the ways of plays, snakes, ballet dancing, and fireworks. Dad, I'm sure you've been down in the cellar all day.
Huh?
I'm going back to the war play, Alice.
Oh, really, Mother?
Hey, you should play Alice that Beethoven thing you wrote.
Okay.
You know that you can send a letter all the way to Nicaragua for just 2 pesetas?
Jenny, Mom's giving me the prize to sing to me.
Listen, people! Listen! I'm not home to dinner. A young gentleman is calling for me.
Who is it?
Well, isn't that nice?
I did everything I could to keep him from coming here, but he's calling for me.
Why don't you both stay to dinner?
Oh no, I want him to take you in easy doses. So don't make it any worse than you can help. So don't read him any plays, Mother. And don't let Snake fight him, Grandpa, because I like him. And I want to dance from Essie, because we're going to see the Monte Carlo Ballet tonight.
Who is he? The President of the United States?
No, he's Vice President of Kirby and Company, Mr. Anthony Kirby Jr.
The boss's son?
Well, just like in the movies.
That explains all of the new dresses.
And why you haven't been home to dinner for 3 weeks.
Why Sherlock Holmes?
Are you going to marry him?
Yes, tonight. Meanwhile, I have to go out and put on my wedding dress.
Is he good looking?
Yes, in a word. Oh dear, what time is it?
I don't know. Does anybody know what time it is?
Mr. DePena might know.
Let's see.
do you think of that?
She certainly seems to like him.
I should say so. She's got it bad.
If they get married, we can have the wedding right here in this room.
Come now, Penny. This is the first time he has ever called for the girl.
You only called for me once.
Young people are different nowadays.
Anyhow,
I
I
don't
think
know.
it's wonderful.
I mean, Ed only called for me once. He came to dinner once and just stayed.
Isn't it wonderful, Grandpa?
Oh, very wonderful. She certainly seems to like him.
He must be crazy about her. Maybe he's the one who's been taking her out every night this week. That must be him. Never mind, Reba. I'll answer it.
Let's get a good look at him.
Now remember what Alice said. Be very nice to him. Come right in. We've been expecting you.
How do you do?
I'm Alice's mother. That's her father and her grandfather, her sister Essie and her husband Ed. Come right in and make yourself right at home.
I'm afraid you must be making a mistake.
How do you mean?
My car.
Wilbur C. Henderson, Internal Revenue Department.
That's right.
What can we do for you, sir?
There's a Mr. Martin Vanderhoff looking.
That's me.
Well, Mr. Vanderhoff, the government wants to talk to you about a little matter of income tax.
Income tax.
You mind if I sit down?
No, go right ahead.
Thank you.
No, darling. It's an internal something or other.
Mr. Sycamore? Oh, excuse me.
What is it?
These things aren't going off. Look.
Not even Mr. DePina. Grandpa's busy.
Oh,
Hard with you.
no. Mr. Vanderhoff, we sent you several letters about this, but have not had any reply.
Oh, that's what those letters were.
I told you they were from the government.
According to our records, Mr. Vanderhoff, you have never paid an income tax.
That's right.
Well, why not?
I don't believe in it.
Well, you own property, don't you?
Yes,
And you receive a yearly income from it
I do.
of between $3,000 and $4,000.
About that.
You've been receiving this for years.
Since 1901, if you want the exact date.
Well, Mr. Vanderhoff, the government is only concerned from 1914 on. That's when income tax started.
Well,
Well, it seems, Mr. Vanderhoff, that you owe the government 24 years back income tax.
Wait a minute. You can't go back that far. That's outlawed.
What's your name?
Why does that matter?
Ever file an income tax return?
No, sir.
And what was your income last year?
$28.50. Isn't that right, Essie?
Yes, sir.
If you please. Now, Mr. Vanderhoff, you know there's quite a penalty for not filing an income tax return.
Penalty?
let me ask you a question, Mr. Henderson.
Well,
Suppose I pay you this income tax. Now, mind me, I'm not saying I will, but for the sake of argument, what's the government going to give me?
what? How do you mean?
Well, if I go into Macy's, I get something. There it is. What's the government giving me?
Why, the government gives you everything. It protects you.
From what?
Well, invasion, foreigners that might try to come over and take everything you've got.
Oh, I don't think they'll do that.
Well, if you didn't pay an income tax, they would. How do you suppose the United States keeps up with the Army and the Navy, all those battleships?
We haven't used battleships since the Spanish-American War. And what did we get out of that? Cuba. And we gave that back. Now, I wouldn't mind paying if it were something sensible.
Sensible. Well, what about Congress and the Supreme Court and the President? We've got to pay them, don't we?
Not with my money.
Now, wait a minute. I'm not here to argue with you. All I know is that you haven't paid an income tax and you have got to pay it.
They've got to show me.
We don't have to show you. I just told you. All those buildings down in Washington and interstate commerce and the Constitution.
The Constitution was paid for a long time ago. And interstate commerce. What is interstate commerce?
commerce, things can go from one state to another. See?
Why not? They got fences.
No, they haven't got fences. They've got laws. My God, I've never seen anything like this before.
Well, I might pay about $75, but that is all it's worth to me.
You'll pay every cent of it like everybody else.
Listen to this a minute, Essie. Listen to this.
And let me tell you something else. You'll go to jail if you don't pay. Do you hear that? That's the law. And if you think you're greater than the law, you've got another thing coming. You're no better than anybody else, and the sooner you get that through your head, the better. You'll be hearing from the United States government. That is all I can say.
Look out for those snakes.
Ah! They're nuts! They're crazy! They're so...
How was that?
That was fine, Ed.
How did that sound to you folks?
I liked it.
My, he was mad, wasn't he?
Now, it's not his fault. The whole thing is just so silly.
He forgot his hat.
Say, what size is that hat?
7 and an 8.
Oh, just right for me.
Who was that fellow anyway?
This must be Mr. Kirby.
Better make sure this time.
I will. How do you do?
Good evening.
This is Mr. Anthony Kirby, Jr.
Yes.
Come right in. We've been expecting you. Come right in. Now, I'm Alice's mother, and that's Mr. Sycamore, Alice's grandfather, her sister Essie, and her husband Ed. Now you've met us all. Make yourself right at home.
Oh, thank you.
Mother, is that Mr. Kirby?
Yes, darling, and he's lovely.
I'll be right down.
Would you be seated, Mr. Kirby?
Thank you.
Have a tomato?
No thanks.
How about some candy, Mr. Kirby?
I'll pass.
Oh, I forgot Mr. DePinna. Mr. DePinna, Mr. Kirby.
Oh, how do you do?
Wasn't I reading about your father in the paper? Didn't he get indicted or something?
Hardly that. He only testified against the Securities Commission. Oh.
Now, I'm sure there was nothing crooked about it, Mr. DePinna. Alice has told us what a wonderful man your father is.
Oh, well, he wouldn't be able to get along without her. Alice knows more about the business than any of us.
Aren't you a little young to be vice president of a big company like that?
Oh, vice president. You know what that means. All I get is a desk with my name on it.
Don't you get any salary, Mr. Kirby?
Oh, more than I'm worth, I'm afraid.
Now you're just being modest.
Wall Street. Sounds kind of dull to me. How do you like it?
Well, the hours are short. I've only been there a short time.
Oh, just out of college?
Well, I knocked around for a bit at first.
What'd you do? Travel?
I went to Cambridge for a year.
England.
That's right.
Oh, say, did you ever see an English commencement? What are those like?
Oh, very impressive.
Really?
Yes, well, now I'm out of college and, well, I'm facing the world.
Well, you've got an awfully good start, vice president and rich father.
Well, that's hardly my fault.
Well, I suppose you're ready to settle down and get married?
Come now, Penny. I'm sure Mr. Kirby knows his own mind.
I wasn't making up his mind for him, was I, Mr. Kirby?
Oh, that's quite all right, Mrs. Sycamore.
You see?
You mustn't rush him, Mother.
Well, all I'm saying is that he's bound to get married, and suppose he gets the
Well,
wrong girl.
Here I am, a vision in blue. I see you've all had time to get acquainted.
Yes, indeed. We were just having a lovely chat about love and marriage.
Oh dear. I'm sorry. I came down as fast as I could.
Oh, I didn't mind in the least.
We have those flies in the kitchen. Oh, Miss Alice, you look beautiful. Where are you going? I'm going out, Reba. Steppin', huh?
That must be Mr. Cooley.
I think we better go, Tony.
All right.
Grandpa, you take cream on your cornflakes, I forget.
Half and half, dog.
Good evening, everybody!
Good evening, Napoleon Dog.
Grandpa, what do you think? I have letter from Russia. I have news that the second 5-year plan's a failure.
I practiced today, Mr. Cooley.
My pavlova! Ah!
Well, if you'll excuse us, Mr. Kalenko.
Oh, Miss Alice! Ah, never have seen you so magnificent.
Thank you, Mr. Kolyankov. Mr. Kolyankov was Effie's dancing teacher. Mr. Kirby.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Well, if you'll excuse us, Mr. Cooley, we're going to see the Monte Carlo Ballet tonight.
Oh, the Monte Carlo Ballet! It stinks!
Yes, well, goodbye, everybody, goodbye!
The Monte Carlo Ballet!
Goodbye!
Isn't Mr. Kirby lovely? What did you think, Grandpa?
She certainly seems to like him.
Oh, Reba, Donald! Come on, everybody, dinner!
Yes, but then you have the ballet. Never go see the Monte Carlo Ballet.
You know, they get married. I think I'll put the arches right where the snakes are. Is that all right, Grandpa?
I don't mind if the snakes don't. Quiet, quiet. Well, sir, we've been getting along pretty good lately, and for that we are much obliged. Remember that all we ask is to just go our own way and be happy. Of course, we'd like to keep our health too, but as far as anything else is concerned, we'll leave it up to you. Thank you.
Oh, catastrophic! Wait up the third 5-year plan! It's got to be catastrophic as well, Grandpa! I tell you! Yes! Stalin does not know what he's doing!
They are, aren't they? But of course, walking inside any theater gives me a thrill.
Oh, Tony, I've had such a lovely time. I hate to have it over.
Oh, is it over? Do I have to go right away?
Not if you don't want to.
I don't.
Would you like a cold drink?
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
I'll see what's in the icebox. Would you like to come along?
Oh, I'd follow you to the ends of the earth.
Oh, just the kitchen is enough.
Why, I like it. You've done it very simply, haven't you?
Yes, we couldn't decide whether to do it Empire or Neo-Grecian.
So you settled for Frigidaire.
It's so easy to live with. Lucky you're not hungry, Mr. K. A nice box full of cornflakes. That gives you a rough idea of the sycamores.
Why, they made these bottle openers for singer midgets. Here we are.
I'll take my glass if you don't mind.
Here you are. A foaming beaker.
Anyhow, it's cold.
Now, if you'll please be seated, Alice, I'd like to offer a toast.
I am seated.
Miss Sycamore, to you.
Thank you, Mr. Kirby. To you.
You know something?
What?
I wouldn't trade one moment of this night for all the rice in China.
Really?
Cross my heart.
Is there much rice in China?
Oh, terrific. Didn't you read The Good Earth? Well, I suppose I ought to go.
Is it very late?
Very. I don't want to go.
I don't want you to.
Well then, I won't. When do you get your vacation?
Last 2 weeks in August.
Why, I might take mine then too.
Really?
What do you suppose you're going to do?
I don't know. I haven't thought much about it.
Going away, do you think?
I might not. I like the city in summertime.
Oh, I do too.
But you always look to Maine, don't you?
Oh, that's right. But you know what I mean, Alice. I'm sure I would like the city in the summertime. I'd love it if you were here.
It'd be nice if you were here too, Tony.
You know what you're saying, don't you?
What?
That you'd rather spend the summer with me than anybody else.
Was I?
And if it's true about the summer, then how would you feel about the winter?
Oh, I think I'd like that too.
And then there's spring and autumn. You could see your way clear about those, Miss Sycamore?
I might.
Well, that's the whole year.
We haven't forgotten anything, have we?
No.
Well then.
Alice, dear! Is that you? What time is it? Oh, Mr. Kirby! I had no idea. That is, I didn't mean to interrupt anything.
Oh, not at all, Mrs. Sycamore.
Oh,
No, Mother.
well, I just came down for a manuscript. Then you can go right ahead. Ah, here it is. Sex takes a holiday. Well, good night, Tony.
Good night, Mrs. Sycamore.
Oh, I think you can call me Penny, don't you, Alice? Or at least I hope so.
Oh, what's that?
That's just Father.
This time of night?
Any time of night, any time of day.
Well, you know, you're more beautiful, more wonderful, more adorable than...
Don't
than
tell me.
What, Alice? Why, just because you're mother? Why, Penny's a darling. You see, I'm even calling her Penny.
It's not that. Listen, Tony. There's been something I've been meaning to tell you, but I didn't have the courage. I got swept away because I loved you so.
Darling.
No, wait, Tony. I need to make this clear to you. You and I, we're a completely different world. A whole different kind of people. Oh, I don't mean money or socially. That's too silly. But your family and mine, it just wouldn't work, Tony. It just wouldn't work.
All right. Have it your way. They pay her all that money because she can't dance.
Well, I don't call it dancing what she does. Oh, hello. How's the ballet?
It was fun, Essie.
Wonderful.
Now look, what do you people think? Ed and I just saw Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. Do you think she can dance, Mr. Kirby?
Why, yes, I always thought so.
What does she do anyhow? Look, you're Fred Astaire and I am Ginger Rogers.
Essie, please.
I only want him for a moment.
You are much better than Ginger Rogers. We all agree.
You see, Ed?
Come on, Essie, I think we're butting in here.
But they've been together all evening. Good night.
Good night, Mrs. Carmichael.
Say, Essie, did you ever ask Grandpa about us having a baby?
Oh, yeah. He said to go right ahead.
That's what it would be like.
Why, I didn't mind that at all. And it wouldn't be your family living with us. It'd just be you and I.
No, Tony, it's never quite that. No, I love them. I love them deeply. Most people could break away, but I couldn't. I know they do rather strange things, but they're gay and they're fun and I don't know. There's a kind of nobility about them.
Darling, you talk as though only you can understand them. Why, everybody's got a family. My father raises orchids at $10,000 a bulb. Is that sensible? And my mother believes in spiritualism. That's just as bad as your mother writing plays, isn't it?
It goes deeper, Tony. Your mother believes in spiritualism because it's fashionable, and your father raises orchids because he can afford to. My mother writes plays because 8 years ago, a typewriter was delivered here by mistake.
Darling, what of it?
And look at Grandpa. 35 years ago, he just quit business one day. He started up to work in the elevator and came right back down again. He could have been a rich man, but he said it took too much time. So for the past 35 years, he's just collected snakes and gone to circuses and commencements. It never occurs to any of them.
Hello there, children.
Hello, Mr. Vanderhoff.
Hello, Grandpa.
Looks like a fine summer evening.
It was lovely, Grandpa.
Oh, well, I'm off. It was great to meet you, Mr. Kirby. I have a date with a policeman.
Policeman?
Yes, standing date at 12:30 every night. I've known him since he was a boy. See, he's really a doctor, but when he graduated, he came to me and said that he didn't want to be a doctor. He'd always wanted to be a policeman. So I told him, you know what? If you want to be a policeman, then you be a policeman. And that's just what he did. Say, how do you like my new hat?
Very nice, Mr. Vanderhoff.
Oh, I like it a lot. The government gave it to me. It's a fine hat.
did you?
No, Donald.
Thanks. Did you have a nice evening?
Yes, Donald.
Nice dinner?
Yes,
Was
Donald.
the ballet nice?
Yes, Donald.
That is nice.
Now do you see? Could you explain Donald to your father? Could you even explain Grandpa? You couldn't, Tony. I love you, but I love them too. And it's just no use, Tony. It's just no use.
Darling, there's only one thing you just said that matters, that means anything at all. You love me.
But Tony, I know so well.
But darling, can't you just go on loving me and forget everything else?
How can I?
Because nothing can keep us apart. You know that. You must. They want you to be happy, don't they? They must.
I know they do. But they can't change, Tony. I wouldn't want them to change.
They won't have to change. They're charming, lovable people, just as they are. You're worrying about something that may never come up.
Oh, Tony, am I?
All that matters right now is that we love each other. That's so, isn't it?
Yes.
Well then,
Oh, Tony.
now, I'd like to see a little gaiety around here. Young gentlemen calling, getting engaged and everything.
Well, what do I say?
Well, first, you thank the young man for getting engaged to you,
Well, thank you, Mr. Kirby, for getting engaged to me.
and then you tell him what it was that first took your girlish heart.
The back of your head.
Huh?
It wasn't your charm, and it wasn't your money. It was the back of your head. I just liked it.
Well, what happened when I turned around?
Oh, I got used to that after a while.
We're pretty lucky, aren't we?
I know I am. I'm the luckiest girl in the world.
Well, I'm not exactly unlucky myself. Well, good night, darling. Until tomorrow.
Good night, Tony.
You know, it's fantastic that we work in the same office. Otherwise, I'd be hanging around here all day.
Won't it be funny in the office tomorrow? Seeing each other and going on as though nothing had happened.
Well, thank God I'm vice president. I can dictate to you all day. Dear Miss Sycamore, I love you. I love you. I love you.
Oh, darling, you're such a fool.
Won't you meet me in the drugstore in the morning? I'll have millions of things to say to you.
All right.
And then lunch, and then dinner tomorrow night.
Oh, Tony, what will people say?
Well, it's got to come out sometime. And if you know how to get a housetop, I'd like to do a little shouting.
Yes, sir, Mr. Abita. We did a good night's work. That's what? 500 Black Panthers, 300 willow trees, and 8 dozen junior kitty bombers.
Pretty good. Why, hello, Alice. You just come in?
No, Father. I've been home for quite some time.
Have a nice evening.
Oh, yes, Father. I've had the most beautiful evening.
Say, I'd like you to take a look at this new fire. Mr. DePin, will you turn out the lights? I want Alice to get the full effect.
What?
Take a look at this new light. It's beautiful. There. Isn't it beautiful?
Oh, yes, Father. Everything's beautiful. It's the most beautiful light in the world.
Till intermission, of course.
Have you been on stage a long time, Miss Wellington?
All my life. Ever see Peg of My Heart?
Oh, yes.
I did too. Good show, wasn't it? Oh, say, it's a hot night, ain't it?
Do you want me to open up the window, Miss Wellington?
Ah, nah, to hell with the weather. Say, you.
She's just acting. She didn't mean anything.
Anytime you're ready, Miss Wellington. I thought we'd read the play upstairs in my room.
All right, dearie. I'm ready.
Miss Wellington, those are real. Miss Wellington, those are real. They're grandpa's.
When I see snakes, it's time to let down.
Oh no, Miss Wellington.
She's out like a light.
Better let her sleep it off.
Reba, Miss Wellington just passed out.
Do you think she'll be all right?
I think so, Penny, but I wouldn't cast her in the religious play.
Well, I suppose I'll just have to wait.
Next time you meet an actress on the top of the bus, I think I'd send her the script instead of having her over to read it.
And I wish you'd stop printing and take those love drawings around. You have got to get back in time to play for me when Cooley comes.
Cooley coming tonight?
Yes, tomorrow night's his night, but I had to change it on account of Alice.
Oh, that's right. Oh, big doings around here tomorrow night.
Isn't it exciting? You know, I'm so nervous. You think it was me he was engaged to instead of Alice?
What do you think they'll be like, his mother and father? Ed, what are you doing now?
Well, Penny, did you see the new mask I made last night? Guess who it is?
Now, wait a minute, Ed. Don't tell me. Helen of Troy.
It's Mrs. Roosevelt.
You know the nice thing about these Meccano sets? You can make so many different things with them. Last week, it was the Empire State Building.
What's it this week?
Queen Mary.
Hasn't got the right hat on.
Look, Mr. Japina, would you check outside the front door and see if a man is standing out there?
Why? What for?
Well, every night I've been going out to deliver candy, a man has followed me home.
Ed, you're crazy.
No, I'm not. Every time I go out to deliver candy, a man follows me home.
Really? I'll take a look and see.
What would somebody follow you for, Ed?
Well, there have been a lot of kidnappings going on, Grandpa.
Yes, but not of Ed.
Well, did you see him?
There was nobody out there at all.
Really? You sure?
Positive. I just saw him walk away.
You see?
It could have been anybody walking along the street. Now, will you hurry up and get back?
Fine.
Mr. Sycamore, want to go down now and finish packing up the fireworks?
Yeah, we gotta take the fireworks up to Mount Vernon in the morning.
Mother, may I borrow some paper? I'm making out a list for Reba tomorrow night.
Yes, dear. Here's some.
Why, what happened to your actress friend? Is she giving a performance?
No, she's not acting, Alice. She's really drunk.
Essie dear, you're going to give Reba the whole kitchen tomorrow because she'll need it.
Yeah, I'll just start the love drinks right now, so I'll be way ahead.
Thanks, dear. Now, Mother, I'll be home at 3 o'clock tomorrow. You'll have everything down in the cellar by that time, won't you? The typewriter, and the tanks, and the xylophone, and the printing press.
And Miss
And
Wellington.
Mr. Wellington. That way I'll have time to arrange the table and fix the flowers. You'll do all that, won't you?
Yes, dear.
And I think we better have cocktails ready by 7:15, just in case they come a little early. I wonder if I ought to let Reba cook the dinner. What do you think, Grandpa?
From what I've seen of the boy, I'm sure that the Kirbys are very nice people. And if everything doesn't go exactly as planned tomorrow night, well, that's all right too.
Oh, darling, I'm not trying to impress them or pretend that we're anything we aren't. I want
no reason it shouldn't, Alice.
We'll do everything we can to make it a nice party.
Oh, you're the most wonderful family in the world, and I'm the happiest girl in the world. I didn't know anyone could be so happy. Why, this past week, it's been like I'm floating. Just seeing him, you don't know what it does to me.
Just seeing him? Just seeing him for lunch and then dinner and until 4 o'clock in the morning. And then at 9 o'clock the next morning, you're at the office and there he is. Just seeing him, huh, Alice?
I don't care. I'm in love. Reba! Reba!
She certainly seems to like him.
Yes. I remember when I was engaged to Paul, how happy I was. And you know, I still feel that way.
I know. It's nice the way that Ed and Essie get along too, isn't it?
And Reba and Donald, even though they're not married. Do you think Mr. DePinna will ever get married?
Well, there is Miss Wellington.
Oh dear. I do wish she'd wake up for going to read the play tonight.
Mrs. Sycamore, look what I found. Remember?
Oh yes! It's my painting you as the discus thrower. Look, Grandpa.
Oh, I remember it. Say, you've gained a little weight since then, haven't you, Mr. DePinna?
Very noticeable.
Well, that was just before I stopped painting, so 80 years.
It's a shame you never finished it, Miss Sycamore.
I always meant to, Mr. DePinna, but I started to write a play one day, and that was that. I never painted again.
It's just as well, too. See, I was going to have to strip next.
That day I came to deliver the ice 8 years ago, I would have stayed.
Well, the milkman was here before you for 5 years.
Say, why did he leave anyhow? I forget.
Oh, he didn't leave. He died.
Oh, yes.
He was such a nice man. Remember the funeral, Grandpa? We didn't know his name, so it was kind of hard to get a death certificate.
Say, what name did we ever end up giving him anyhow?
Martin Vanderhoff. We gave him your name.
That's right. I remember now.
It was a lovely thought. Otherwise, he wouldn't have gotten all those flowers.
Worked out pretty well for me, too. I haven't gotten a phone call from that day to this.
It really was a wonderful idea.
I really wish you'd finish this sometime, Miss Sycamore. I'd kind of like to have it.
You know what, Mr. DePinna? I think I'll do some work on it right tonight.
Say you will?
Yes, I don't think she's going to wake up anyhow. Look, Mr. DePinna, why don't you run down to the cellar and get on your costume? And get the easel. Is it still down there?
I think so.
Now, where did I put my college
Oh, my
introduction?
little Rabishka! Good evening, everybody!
Good evening, Cooley and Cobb.
Hello, Mr. Kolyankov. Essie's in the kitchen.
Madam Sycamore, I greet you. Grandpa, tell me, what should I do about little Rabishka? I keep on telling her, she make a great toe dancer, but she only laughs.
No, sir, Mr. Kolyankov. I couldn't get up on my toes. I got corns.
Little Rabishka, you could wear diamonds. A wonderful girl, Grandpa.
Yes, she is.
What's that?
Oh, that? It's a picture of Mr. DePinna. Penny painted it.
Ah, it stinks.
I know. Take a look at that.
What is that?
She's an actress, a friend of Penny's.
She's drunk, no?
She's drunk, yes! Say, how have you been, Kolyankov?
Oh, magnifico! Life is chasing around me like a little squirrel.
Tis, huh?
Yes.
How are things in Moscow? You hear anything from your friend over there?
Ah, yes. I just received a letter from him. I said for you to stamp.
Well, thank you, Kolyankov.
They sent him to Siberia.
How's he like it?
He has escaped and gone back to Moscow. He will get the Soviet government if they do not get to him. The Soviet government. I can take the whole government and...
I'm sorry I'm late, Mr. Kolyankov.
We really want my Paula. Tonight, we try out something new.
Say, is he making any progress, Kolyankov?
Confidentially, she stinks.
Well, as long as she's having fun.
You sure do tickle Reba, Mr. Kolyankov. She's laughing her head off out there.
She is a wonderful woman. Donald, what do you think about the Soviet governance?
The what, Mr. Kolyankov?
I withdraw the question. What do you think of this government?
Oh, I like it fine. I'm on relief, you know.
Oh, and you like it?
Oh, yeah. Only thing is, I gotta go around this place to get it. And sometimes, you gotta stay in line for pretty near half an hour. The government ought to be run better than that. Don't you think, Grandpa?
The government ought to stop sending me all these letters. They want me down at the United States Marshal's office at 10 o'clock on Tuesday. Take a look at that.
Ah, income tax. They've gone to you too, Grandpa.
I'll say. They want me to pay a lot of money as to keep Donald here on relief.
You don't say, Grandpa. You don't pay it from now on?
That's what they want.
So you're telling me I can come here instead of standing in that line?
Oh, no, Donald. I'm afraid you'll have to waste a good 30 minutes of your time every week.
Well, I don't like it. It breaks up my week.
He should have been in Russia when the revolution came. Then he would have stood in line, a bread line. Grandpa, what have they done to Russia? Just think of it. The Grand Duchess, Olga Katrina, the cousin of the Tsar, is a waitress at Child's restaurant in Times Square. I ordered baked beans from her just the other day. It broke my heart. A crazy world this is, Grandpa.
The world's not so crazy, Kolyankov. It's the people in it. Life's pretty simple if you just relax.
How can you relax at a time like this?
If people relaxed, there wouldn't be times like this. That's just my point. The problem is, people forget that. I know I did. I used to be right out in the thick of it. Fighting, scratching, clawing, regular jungle. Then one day it just sort of occurred to me that I wasn't having any fun.
Well, what did you do?
Oh, just relaxed. That was 35 years ago, and I've been a happy man ever since.
Oh, good evening, Mr. Kolyankov.
Oh, Miss Alice! I have not yet seen you to present my congratulations.
Same to you, Mr. Kolyankov.
And you'll be very happy and have many children. That is my prayer to you! Ah!
That's quite a thought.
Ah. Love. Love is all that's left in this world, Grandpa.
Yes, but there's plenty of that.
And soon, Stalin will take that away too. I tell you, Grandpa.
It's so nice to get my art things again. They still look all right, don't they, Grandpa?
Yes, indeed.
You are Brett the Perry! Mwah! Madam Sycamore.
Why, thank you, Mr. Kolyankov.
I didn't know you worked for the WPA.
Oh, no, Don. You see, I used to paint all the time.
It happened again. There I was out delivering candy, and a man followed me home.
Nonsense, Ed. It's just your imagination.
No, it's not! It happens every time I go out to deliver candy.
Well, maybe he just wants a piece of candy.
It's easy for you to laugh, Grandpa, but it's not happening to you.
You do not know what following is. In Russia, everybody was followed. I was followed right out of Russia.
You see, Ed, it's just your imagination.
Well, I guess.
Ah, here we are.
Where do you want to go? Over there?
Right here, Mr. Lieutenant.
Ed, for tonight's lesson, we use the first movement of share song.
Okay.
Has something happened to your figure?
I think so.
Yes, Miss Wellington? Yes?
Shifu. Perspiration.
Why, that's wonderful, Mr. Cooley and Cobb. Did you hear that, Grandpa? Art is only a
Yes, but it helps if you have a little talent, too. I only made 2 bullseyes last night. I gotta do better than that.
Are you ready?
Ready.
We begin! Now, pirouette! Pirouette! Come on, you can do that! It's been 8 years now! Watch it! Watch it! Look, you see, Grandpa, you cannot relax with Stalin in Russia. Just not relax, and look what happened to him!
He was wrong.
If you have not relaxed, the Grand Duchess will not be selling baked baked today! I'm sorry. We go back!
Mr. Tibbetts, you stuck in your stomach, please. That's nice.
A little freer with the hands. A little freer. Hey, help with the music. The music must be free too. Now, Adria. Adria. Now speak. Pirouette. Pirouette.
Mrs. Sycamore. Mrs. Sycamore.
What, Reba?
Good evening.
Come on inside. Good evening.
Are we too early?
No, not at all. We weren't doing a thing.
Oh, no, it's just we weren't expecting till tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night?
What?
Now, it's perfectly fine. Just come on inside.
Tony, how could you possibly? I don't know.
Really? Tony, this is most embarrassing.
Not at all. Now, this is Alice's mother, Miss Sycamore.
How do you do?
We do.
And that's Alice's sister, Miss Carmichael. Her husband, Mr. Carmichael. Her dancing teacher, Mr. Cooley and Cobb. And, that's Mr. Dependent.
Don't mind my costume. I'll take it right off.
Why don't you go downstairs and tell Mr. Sycamore that Mr. and Mrs. Kirby are here?
And put some pants on.
All right. Excuse me.
I'll tell Alice that you're up. Alice? Alice, dear.
What is it?
Would you come down, dear? We've got a surprise for you.
May I take your wrap, Miss Kirby?
Well, thank you. If you're perfect, sure.
Oh, snakes!
Put those snakes in the kitchen!
We're just so used to them around the house.
I'm sorry to trouble you with snakes. Happen to be.
I feel very uncomfortable about this, Tony. I'll get done some.
Sorry, Father. I thought it was tonight.
It was very careless of you. Very.
Oh, now, Mr. Kirby, anybody can get new stuff.
It's perfectly fine. Alice, not Alice, Penny. Why don't we work on finding some dinner for these folks?
Please don't bother. We're really not hungry at all.
It's not a bit of a bother. Ed, tell Donald to run down to the A&P and get half a dozen bottles of beer and some canned salmon. Do you like canned salmon, Mr. Kirby?
Oh, please don't trouble Miss Sycamore. I have a little indigestion anyway.
Oh, I'm sorry. How about you, Mrs. Kirby? Do you like canned salmon?
Oh, I'm very fond of this.
You can have frankfurters if you'd rather.
Either one will do.
Well, make it frankfurters and some canned corn and Campbell soup. Got that, Ed?
Got it.
And tell him to hurry.
Okay.
The A&P is just around the corner, and frankfurters don't take any time to boil.
Oh, that is Alice's father, Mr. Sycamore.
How do you do?
How do you do?
I hope you'll forgive my appearance.
This is Mr. Sycamore's busiest time of year, right before the 4th of July, when you...
Oh, darling. I'm the most dull-witted person in the world. I thought it was tonight.
I'm so sorry. I can't imagine why I wasn't. Have you all met each other?
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
How do you do, Alice?
How do you do, Mrs. Kirby? I'm afraid I'm not very presentable.
Oh, darling, you look lovely.
Why, of course she does.
I hope this doesn't upset you, my dear. We've all just met each other a night sooner, that's all.
But I was planning such a nice party for tomorrow night.
Then we'll come again tomorrow night.
There you are, my lass. Am I forgiven?
I guess we'd better see about getting you some dinner.
That's all been taken care of, Alice. That's all been attended to.
But Mother, what did he send out for? Because Mr. Kirby has indigestion. He can only eat certain things.
Oh, it's all right. It's all right.
I asked him what he wanted, Alice.
Yes, Mother.
Now, it's not as serious as all that. Just because I have a little indigestion.
Perhaps it's not indigested at all, Mr. Kirby. Perhaps it's stomach ulcers.
Don't be absurd, Mr. Kolyankov.
You mustn't mind Mr. Kolyankov. See, he's Russian, and Russians tend to look on the darker side.
Fine, I'm Russian. But a friend of mine, a Russian, has died from stomach ulcers.
Really, I only...
Please, Mr. Kolyankov.
Fine. Let him wait.
Why don't you have a seat, Mr. Kirby? Just make yourself comfortable.
Thank you.
Say, how do you find business conditions now? Are we pretty well out of the depression?
Yes. Well, of course, I think so.
But you suppose that we're gonna continue improving?
Broadly speaking, yes. As a matter of fact, industry is now operating at a full 64% capacity, as compared to 82% in 1925. But of course, in 1929...
What was a lady from where? What remarkable feeling. She plays with big But then she went upstairs for the evening.
That probably seems rather strange to you folks, but she's not quite accountable for her actions. She's an actress friend of Penny's. She came over for dinner tonight and was overcome by the heat.
Yes, some people feel more than others. Excuse me.
It is awfully hot. But you escape all this hot weather, don't you, Mr. Kirby? Up in Maine.
As a rule. I do, however, must come down this week for the flower show.
Oh, that flower show's the high spot of her year. Mother wouldn't miss that for the world.
I won a blue ribbon at a flower show once for raising onions. Remember, Alice?
That was a garden show, I think.
Oh, yeah. I think she'll be all right now. Has Donald come back yet?
No, he hasn't.
I'm afraid you must be starved.
Oh no, quite all right. But what's this? I didn't know there were little children in the house.
Oh no, that's mine.
I suppose every man has his hobby. Or do you use that as a model of some kind?
No, I just play with it.
I see.
Maybe you'd be better off if you had a hobby like that, Father, instead of raising orchids.
Yes, I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, do tell us all about your orchids, Mr. Kirby. Did you know that some take almost 6 years to come up? Think of that.
Yes. As a matter of fact, I've got an orchid coming along now that I've waited 10 years for.
Believe it or not, I waited for an orchid once.
Yes. And orchids at that time take most scrupulous care. I remember a bulb I was once very fond of.
Oh, Donald!
Here we are. Do you have everything?
Yes, only they didn't have any frankenfurters, so I got pickled pigs.
Never mind! If you'll excuse me, do tell them all about your orchids. I know they'd love to hear it.
Raising orchids, that seems like a rather expensive hobby.
Yes. Yes, it is. But I believe a hobby is never expensive when it brings one such sufficient pleasure.
That's very true.
You see, I need something to relieve the daily nerve strain. A week on Wall Street and I'd go crazy if I'd have something like that. A lot of men I know have yachts for that very reason.
Well, why don't they just give up Wall Street?
How's that?
I was just joking.
I think it's important for everybody to have a hobby. Of course, to me, it's much more than just a mere hobby. But my great solace is spiritualism.
Spiritualism? Everybody knows that's a fake, Mrs. Kirby.
To me, Mrs. Sycamore, spiritualism is, I would rather not discuss it, Mrs. Sycamore.
Remember now, Penny, you've got one or two hobbies of your own.
Yes, but not silly ones.
I don't think it matters what the hobby is now, Penny. The important thing is that somebody has one.
To be ideal, a hobby must include the body as well as the mind. The Romans, they were great people. But what did they do? What was their hobby? Wrestling! In wrestling, you have to think quick with the mind and react quick with the body.
Yes. But I'm afraid wrestling's not practical for most of us. I wouldn't make a good showing as a wrestler.
Oh no, Mr. Kirby. You make a great wrestler. You're built for it. Look! I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Kirby, but next time we relax soul, we will not be needing glasses.
I do not intend to wrestle again, Mr. Cooley.
Better sit down, Father.
Mr. Cooley, how could you do such a thing? Why didn't anybody stop him?
I think if you all wouldn't mind, perhaps we had better be going.
No, please don't go!
Oh no, Mrs. Kirby, please. Please don't go. Oh, Mr. Kirby, please. I've ordered some plain salad and scrambled eggs and please don't go.
I am terribly sorry if I did something that offended you, Mr. Kirby, and I apologize.
I can't tell you how sorry I am, Mr. Kirby. If I had been here, this would not have happened.
It's quite all right. It's quite all right.
It's all right, Alice. We're not going.
Well, that was exciting for a minute, wasn't it?
You were talking about your orchids, Mr. Kirby. What's your favorite color orchid?
I'm afraid I've quite forgotten about my orchids.
I'm awfully sorry, Mr. Kirby.
What did I do that was so wrong? I threw him on the floor! Did it kill him? Ah!
I'm sure dinner won't be any time at all now.
I have some freshly made candies in the kitchen if you want it.
My doctor does not permit me to eat candy. Thank
Oh,
you.
these are nothing. It's just coconut and marshmallow and fudge.
No, Essie.
It's out. It's out.
So good.
Excuse me. What is it, Reba?
The eggs put on the sink.
Well, then make some more. Quick.
I got it.
Coconut.
Well, then don't help yourself.
Oh, delicious.
And tell him to hurry. I'm sorry. This will be just a little delay.
Well, I'm certainly putting people through a lot of trouble with my stupidity.
No, not at all, Tony. It's perfectly fine.
Look, why don't we all play a game of some sort while we wait?
Why that'd be fine?
Mother, Mr. and Mrs. Kirby don't want to.
I have a great idea. I know a wonderful trick with a glass of water. That.
I'm sure Mr. and Mrs. Kirby would love this game. It's perfectly fun.
Please, Mother.
I'm not very good at games, Miss Sycamore.
That's all right, Mr. Kirby. Any fool can play this game. All you do is write your name on a piece of paper.
They don't want to play a
He'll
game.
love it. Here you are, Mr. Kirby. Write your name on that piece of paper. And Mrs. Kirby, do the same on that one.
Mother, what is this game?
It's a game I used to play in school. It's called Forget Me Not. There you are. Here you are, Grandpa.
Thank you.
Now, I'm going to read out 5 words, just anything at all, and you're to write down the first thing that comes to your mind. For instance, if I say grass, you might put down green. Or if I say chair, you might put down table. It shows the reactions people have to different things. You see how simple it is, Mr. Kirby?
Come on, Father. Be a sport.
Very
Is everyone ready?
Yes.
Now we must play fair. Write down the first thing that comes to your mind. Is that clear? Yes. The first word is potatoes. Potatoes. Everyone ready?
Yes.
The next word is bathroom.
Mother!
Bathroom. Got that?
Go ahead.
The next word is lust.
Mother! This is
Nonsense, Alice. That word's all right.
It is not all right.
Oh, I don't know, Alice. To me, it seems like that's a perfectly fair word.
You see? Now you mustn't interrupt the game, Alice.
May I have that last word again, Miss Sycamore?
Lust, Mr. Kirby.
I've got it.
Why again?
Grandpa? Everyone ready? The next word is honeymoon. Essie. All ready? The last word is sex.
Mother!
Everybody got sex?
Yes.
All right. Then have your papers. Essie, could you get pencils?
Yep.
May I have yours, Mr. Kirby?
What happens now?
Now, this is the best part. I get to read your reaction.
It's a very interesting game.
I knew you'd like Mr. Kirby, so I will read your paper first. Listen, everybody. This is Mr. Kirby. Potatoes. Steak. That's very good. See how they go together? Steak and potatoes.
I just happened to think of it.
It's very good, Mr. Kirby. Bathroom. Toothpaste. Yes. Lust. Unlawful. Well, honeymoon trip, of course. Sex. Male. Why, of course you are, Mr. Kirby.
You know, it's more than just a game. It's actually an experiment in psychology.
Exactly. It shows exactly how your mind works. Now, we'll see how Mrs. Kirby's mind works. Potatoes. Starch. I know exactly what you mean. Ooh. Bathroom. Mr. Kirby.
What's that, Steve?
I don't know what I could have meant, Anthony. It's just that I thought of you in connection with it, that's all. You do spend a good deal in there, you know, bathing and shaving and, well, you do take a long time.
Indeed. I hadn't realized I'd been selfish in the matter. Go on, Miss Sycamore.
This is a silly game and we ought to stop.
Yes.
No. Go on, Miss Sycamore.
The next word was lust. Human.
Human? Really, Miriam?
What I meant, Anthony, is that lust is, after all, a human emotion.
I do not agree with you. Lust is depraved.
Very well, Anthony. I am wrong.
This really is the most pointless game. We ought to play something else, like 20 questions.
Yes.
No! I find this game rather interesting. What was the next word, Miss Sycamore?
Honeymoon.
And what was Mrs. Kirby's answer?
Honeymoon. Dull.
Did you say dull?
What I meant, Anthony, was that Hot Springs is not very lively that season. Well, with all the old people sitting out on the porch all day long and absolutely nothing to do at night,
That was not your reaction at the time, as I recall it.
Father, this is only a game.
A very illuminating game. Go on, Miss Sycamore.
This one's all right, Mr. Kirby. Sex. Wall Street.
Wall Street.
I don't know what I could have meant, Anthony. Nothing.
Well, you must have meant something by it, or you wouldn't have written it down.
It's just the first word that came into my mind, Anthony. That's all.
But what does it mean? Sex? Wall Street?
Oh, I don't know. It's just that you're always talking about Wall Street, even when we... I don't know what I could have meant, Anthony. Would you mind terribly, Alice, if we did not stay for dinner? I'm afraid this game has given me quite the headache.
I understand, Mrs. Kirby.
Yes. Perhaps we better postpone our dinner after all.
You are coming tomorrow night, aren't you?
I'm afraid we have an engagement tomorrow night.
Perhaps we better postpone the whole affair for a while. You know, understands.
Well, I don't. I think we ought to stay.
No, Tony.
What, Alice?
We're fools, Tony. Ever to think that this would work. Mr. Kirby, I won't be in the office tomorrow. I won't be there at all anymore.
Charlotte, what are you talking about?
I'm sorry, my dear. Very sorry. Are you ready, Miriam?
Yes, Anthony.
Alice, you mustn't mind this.
Are you coming, Tony?
No, Father, I'm not.
Very well. Your mother and I will be waiting for you at home. It's been a pleasure to have met you all.
Yes. Lovely.
Right where you are!
Don't move!
This is an outrage! Keep your mouth shut, you! Which one is it? This is it!
Wait! What are you doing?
What's going on? Down, you! Let's make an explanation! Shut up!
What's your name? My name is Edward Carmichael. I haven't done anything.
Grandpa, what is it? What's going on?
What's going on, officer? What is all this?
We're the Department of Justice.
Oh my goodness, Jacob!
Hey, what have you done? I haven't done anything.
What's the boy done, officer?
What is it? What's it all about?
Does that door lead to the cellar?
Yes.
Yes.
Matt. Jim.
Yes, sir.
Go take a look upstairs and see what you find.
Okay.
What are these? They're my circulars. You print this stuff, huh?
Yes, but I didn't mean anything.
You did it, huh? Dynamite the Capitol. Dynamite the White House. God is the state, and the state is God. Well, I did print those things, but you see, printing is just a hobby. Isn't that right, Grandpa?
Now, officer, the government is in no danger at all from Ed. He'll print anything.
He does.
Yes.
I've never heard of such nonsense.
I refuse to stay here. Give me my pipe, will you? What are you
Shut
doing?
up,
Shut up, Jeri. We were right, Chief. They've got enough gunpowder down there to blow up the whole city. Keep down! Everybody get down! You're under arrest! Shut up! All of you! Shut up! Who's that?
That is my mother.
With appearance in the West Side Court this morning, after spending a night in jail, the defendants, 13 in all, were brought before Judge Callahan, who was given a suspended sentence for the manufacturing of fireworks without a permit.
Yeah, they kept me in the same cell with a strip teaser from a burlesque show.
Wasn't it self Mr. Kirby? Oh, he's mad.
Mrs. Kirby and the strip teaser, they were fighting all night.
There's a whole lot about Mr. Kirby here. Anthony W. Kirby, head of Kirby and Company, 62 Wall Street, who was among those apprehended. He declared he had no way interested in the manufacturing of fireworks, but refused to state why he was on the premises at the time of the raid. Mr. Kirby is a member of the Union Club, the Record Club, the Harvard Club, and the National Geographic Society. My, he sure is a joiner.
All them rich men are elks or something.
You know, I suppose after all this, Mr. Tony ain't ever gonna marry Miss Alice.
No, sir. And it's too bad, too. Alice sure does love that boy.
Ever notice how rich folks are always getting themselves into trouble?
Yes, I'm glad I'm poor.
You know, I don't know what I'm going to do with all that food out in the kitchen.
Ain't gonna be no party tonight, that's for sure.
Ain't we gonna eat it anyhow?
Well, I'm cooking it, but nobody's going to have an appetite.
I'm hungry.
Well, they ain't. They're all so broke up about Miss Alice.
What's she wanna go away for anyway?
Well, I don't know. Mountains or someplace.
And she's going all right. No matter what they say, I know Alice when she gets that look in her eye.
It's too bad, ain't it?
Sure is.
Not even a balloon left. Look.
How's your hand, Mr. DePena? Better?
Yes, it's better. Is there some olive oil left in there?
It's in the salad bowl.
Thanks.
Well, she's going. Nothing anybody said could change her.
She's not staying long way, is she, Mrs. Sycamore?
I don't know, Reba.
Well, it's going to be lonesome around here without her.
How do you feel, Miss Sycamore?
Oh, I'm all right, Donald. Just kind of upset. Perhaps if I do some work, maybe I'll feel better.
Well then, I won't bother you then, Miss Sycamore.
She's going, Penny.
Yes?
Now, Penny.
I can't help it, Paul. Somehow I feel it's our fault.
It's mine more than yours, Penny. All these years, I've just been going along, enjoying myself, when maybe I should have been thinking more about Alice.
No, don't say that, Paul. You've been a wonderful father and a husband, too.
No, I haven't. Maybe if I'd gone ahead, been an architect. I don't know. Something Alice could be proud of. I felt that all last night, looking at Mr. Kirby.
But we've been so happy.
I know, but maybe that's not enough. I used to think it was, but I'm all mixed up now.
When is she going?
Pretty soon. Train leaves at 7:30.
Oh, if only she'd see Tony. Maybe he could persuade her.
But she won't, Penny. He's been trying all day.
Where is he now?
I don't know. I suppose walking around the block again. Anyhow, she won't talk to him.
Maybe he could catch on her way out.
It won't help, Penny.
I suppose not. I feel so sorry for Tony, too. Well, Grandpa?
Now, Penny, just leave the girl alone.
But, Grandpa...
Suppose she goes to the Adirondacks. I mean, she'll come home. A person can only take so much Adirondacks before they come home.
But it's also terrible, Grandpa.
In a way, but there's also a bright side.
How do you mean?
Well, Mr. Kirby getting into that patrol wagon and his face when he had to take a bath with Donald. I won't forget that if I live to be 100. And I warn you, I intend to. As long as I can have things like that going on.
It was worse for Mrs. Kirby when the matron stripped her. There was this burlesque dancer there singing a strip song as she undressed.
I'll bet you that Bar Harbor is going to seem pretty dull to the Kirbys this summer. Oh, Alice,
Alice,
can I help you?
I'm just going to press these.
I'll bring the big bag down as soon as you're ready, Alice.
Thank you.
Would you like some candies for the train, Alice?
No, Essie.
You know, you could be just as alone here as you could in the mountains. You could stay up in your room all the time.
No, Mother. I need to get away. I love you. I need to be by myself for a while. I'll be all right. Did you phone for a cab?
No, I didn't know you wanted one.
I told Mr. DePinna to tell you, Paul. Didn't he tell you?
Oh no, he told me, but I forgot.
I wish I lived in a family that didn't always forget everything, that behaved the way normal families act. I'm sick of cornflakes and of Donald and of everything. Why can't we act like other people? Roast beef and 2 green vegetables and doilies on our table and a place where you can bring your friends without... Oh!
I'll see if I can do anything.
Tony, talk to her. She's in the kitchen.
Thank you. Alice, won't you listen to me, please?
No, Tony, it's no use!
Alice, you're not being fair. At least let me talk to you.
Where'd they go?
Upstairs.
She walked right out the minute he came in.
Knocked the olive oil right out of my hand. I'm gonna smell kind of fishy.
Say, how's your hand feeling, Mr. DePinna? Oh, still hurting you?
No, it's better.
Everything burnt up, huh? Downstairs.
Everything. My Roman costume, too.
See? I told you there was a bright side to everything.
What are you gonna do about your income tax?
Oh, that's right. There's a bright side to everything except my income tax. See, I sort of had an idea, but I'm not sure if it'll work.
What is it?
Well, see, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going
Good evening, everybody!
Good evening, Cooley and Cobb.
Why, Mr. Kolienko?
You forgive me, the doors are open.
It's okay. Come on in.
You excuse my coming today. I understand you all are upset.
That's all right, Mr. Kolienko.
I don't think I can do a lesson today, Mr. Kolienko. I don't feel like dancing.
Well, I understand. I'm terribly sorry too.
Oh, but please do stay for dinner, Mr. Kolienko. We have all that food, and someone's got to eat it.
I'd be happy to, Madam Sycamore.
Fine.
Now, I wonder if I know you all well enough to ask you a great favor.
Why, of course.
Do you remember me talking to my friend, the Grand Duchess, Olga Katrina?
Yes.
She's a cousin of the Tsar, and she's a waitress at Child's Restaurant in Times Square.
If there's anything at all that we can do, Mr. Kolienko.
I tell you, she has not had a good meal since the revolution.
She must be hungry.
And today is not only her day off, but Thursday is the anniversary of Peter the Great, a remarkable man.
Why, if you mean you'd like the Grand Duchess to come to dinner, why, we'd be honored.
Oh, yes!
Oh, and the name of the Grand Duchess, I thank you.
Why, isn't that exciting? Where is she now?
She's right outside waiting. I go bring her in.
And your time.
My dress
You know, if things keep going on like this, I'm going to live to be 150.
May I present the Grand Duchess, Olga Katrina. Grand Duchess, permit me to present to you Madam Sycamore. Madam Carmichael. Grandpa. Madam. Mr. Carmichael. Mr. Sycamore. And Mr. DePinna.
Oh! Quite enough now, Miss DePinna.
Would you be seated, Your Highness?
Thank you. You are most kind.
We are honored to receive you, Your Highness.
I am most happy to be here. How soon is dinner?
Very soon, very soon.
Yeah. I do not mean to be rude, but I must be back at the restaurant by 8 o'clock. I am substituting for another waitress.
I will make sure that you are on time, Your Highness.
Thank you, Kolienko.
Duchess, I think you waited on me once at Child's. The one on 72nd Street?
No. That was my sister.
The Grand Duchess Natasha.
Ah, work in Times Square.
Oh.
There's quite a lot of your folks over here now, aren't there?
Ah, yes, many. My uncle, the Grand Duke Sergei. He is an elevator man at Macy's. Very nice man. Then there is my cousin, Prince Alexis. He does not talk to the rest of us because he works at Haiti Carnegie. He is in ladies' underwear.
Well, when he was selling hot dogs at Coney Island, he was willing to talk to you then.
Ah, yes, Kolienko, but our time is coming. My sister Natasha is studying to be a manicurist, and my uncle Sergei was promised floor walker. And next month, I am transferred to Fifth Avenue's Child. Then there is only one step to Straps. Then we will see what Prince Alexis has to say.
I think you've got him.
You are getting me!
Did you know the Tsar, Your Highness? Personally, I mean.
Of course! He was my cousin. It was terrible what happened to him. But perhaps it was for the best. Where could he get the job now?
That is true.
Poor relations are poor relations. It is the same in every family. My cousin, the King of Sweden, very nice to us for about 10 years. Then, all of a sudden, he said, oh, just cannot go on. I do not blame him. I am not doing well myself.
No, I don't suppose so. Would you excuse me a minute?
Duchess, is it true what they say about Rasputin?
Everyone wants to know about Rasputin. And yes, my dear sir, it is true. And how?
You don't say.
Your Highness, we have to watch the time.
Oh, yes, I mustn't be late. My manager does not like me. He is a communist.
We'll hurry things up. please bring me help in the kitchen.
I would love to cook. I am a great cook.
Not on your day off, Your Highness.
I do not mind. Where is your kitchen?
It's right from here, but you're the guest of honor, Your
But
Majesty.
I love to cook. Come on, Cooley and Pop. If they got sour cream and pot cheese, I will make you some blessings.
Ah, Melinsis! Papa, we show you something.
Say, the Duchess is all right, isn't she? Hey, Duchess, can I help?
Gee, she's got a wonderful face for a mask, doesn't she?
Well, she is a nice lady, considering she's a Grand Duchess and all.
Wonderful what some people go through and still stay kind of cheerful.
She made me forget about everything for a minute.
I suppose I'd better call that cab now.
No, wait, Paul. Here they come. Maybe Tony has...
Ed, will you go up and bring that other cab or other bag down?
Don't you do it, Ed.
Ed, please.
Mine, bring it down. Do you know that you got the stubbornest daughter in all the 48 states?
That must be the cab.
If it is, they certainly have wonderful service.
Yes, Mr. Kirby, come on in.
Oh, well, good evening.
Good evening.
How do you do?
I hope you'll forgive my intrusion. Tony, I want you to come home with me. Your mother is very upset.
Very well, Father. Goodbye, Alice.
Bye, Tony.
I hardly need to say that this is difficult for Mrs. Kirby and I, as it is for you all, but I'm sure you all understand.
Well, in a way, yes, but in a way, no. Now, Mr. Kirby, I'm not the kind of person who tries to run other people's lives, but the fact is, I don't think these two young people have quite as much sense as, you and I have.
Grandpa, will you please not
Now,
do this?
Alice, I'm just talking to Mr. Kirby.
You want me to do that for you, Alice?
No thanks, Mother.
You've got quite a while before the train goes, Alice.
Hello, will you send a cab to 761 Claremont right away, please? That's right. Thank you.
Alice.
Mother.
Are you ready, Tony?
Mr. Kirby, I suppose that after last night, you think that this family is kind of crazy.
I wouldn't say that, Mr. Vanderhoff, although I'm not accustomed to going out to dinner and spending the night in jail.
Well, you've got to remember, Mr. Kirby, you came on the wrong night. I'll bet if you come tonight, nothing will happen at all. Maybe.
It was not last night that convinced Mrs. Kirby and I that this engagement would be unwise.
Father, I can handle my own affairs. Now, Alice, for the last time, will you marry me?
No, Tony. I know exactly what your father means. And he's right.
No, he's not.
Alice, you're in love with this boy, and you're not marrying him because of the kind of people we are.
Grandpa.
Oh, I know. You think that the two families wouldn't get along. Well, maybe they wouldn't. But who's to say that they're right and we're wrong?
Grandpa, I only feel.
Well, what I feel is that Tony here is too nice a boy to wake up 20 years from now with nothing in his life but stocks and bonds.
How's that?
Yes, mixed up and unhappy, the way you are.
I beg your pardon, Mr. Vanderhoff. I'm a very happy man.
Are you?
I most certainly am.
I don't think so. Where do you think you get your indigestion from? Happiness? No. You get your indigestion because most of your time is spent doing things that you don't want to do.
I don't do anything I don't want to do.
Yes, you do. You said so last night at dinner that after a week on Wall Street, you're pretty near crazy. Why do you keep on doing it?
Why do I keep on? Well, it's my business. A man can't give up his business.
Why not? You've got all the money you need. You can't take it with you.
That's a very easy thing to say, Mr. Vanderhoff, but I spent my entire life building up my business.
And what's it got you? Same kind of mail every morning, same kind of deals, same kinds of meetings, the same dinner at night, and the same indigestion. Where does the fun come in, Mr. Kirby? Don't you think you're missing something? I mean, you've got to want something more. We don't have much time left, any of us.
Well, what do you expect me to do? Live the way you do? Do nothing?
Well, I have a lot of fun. Time enough to read, talk, go to the zoo now and then, play my darts, even time enough to notice when spring comes around. I don't do anything I don't want to do, and I don't work for 6 hours doing something I don't want to do just to get 1 hour in of something I want to do. And I haven't taken bicarbonate of soda in 35 years. What's the matter with that, Mr. Kirby?
The matter with that, suppose we all did it. A fine world we'd have, all of us going to the zoos. Don't be ridiculous, Mr. Vanderhoff. Who would do the work?
There's always people to do the work, Mr. Kirby. Why, you can't stop them. Inventions, and they'll fly the ocean. And there are always people to go down to Wall Street, too, Mr. Kirby. But the fact is, I don't think you're one of them. I think that you're missing something.
I'm not aware of missing anything.
Oh, I wasn't either, until I quit. I used to get down to that office at 9 o'clock every morning. I used to lay in bed at night, worrying whether I'd get the next deal or not. I used to worry about the world, too, whether Cleveland or Blaine would win the election. It seemed so important at the time, but looking back at it now, I mean, who cares? I guess what I'm trying to say, Mr. Kirby, is that I've had a good 35 years that no matter what they do to the world, nobody can take away from me. You see?
I see, Mr. Vanderhoff, but it's a very dangerous philosophy. It's un-American, and it's exactly why Mrs. Kirby and I are opposed to this marriage. I don't want Tony to come under its influence.
What's the matter with it, Father?
The matter with it? Why, it's downright communism.
Oh, you didn't always think so.
I most certainly did. What are you talking about?
I'll tell you what I'm talking about. You didn't always think so, because there was a time where you wanted to be a trapeze artist.
Don't be an idiot, Tony.
Oh, I saw those letters you wrote to Grandfather. Do you remember those?
No. How dare you read those letters? How dare you?
Why, that's wonderful, Mr. Kirby. Did you wear tights?
Most certainly not. This whole thing is absurd. I was merely 14 at the time.
Yes, but at 18, you wanted to be a saxophone player.
Tony!
And at 21, you ran away from home because Grandfather tried to push you into business. It's all down there in black and white. You didn't always think so.
Well, well, well.
I have had my silly notions in my youth, but thank God my father knocked them out of me. That's when I started the business and forgot about it.
Oh, not altogether, Father. There's still a saxophone in the back of your clothes closet.
There is?
That's enough, Tony. We'll discuss this later.
Oh, no. I want to talk about it now. I think Mr. Vanderhoff is right. Dead right. I've always hated the business, and I'm never going back. But I'll tell you something else. I did make a mistake last night. I knew it was the wrong night. I brought you here on purpose.
Tony, for heaven's
Because I wanted to wake you up. I wanted you to see a real family, the way they really were. A family who loved and understood each other. You don't understand me. You've never had the time. Well, I'm not making your mistake. I'm clearing out.
You're clearing out? What do you mean?
I mean, I'm not going to be pushed into the business just because I'm your son.
What are you going to do, Tony?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I'll be a bricklayer. But at least I'll be doing something that I want to do.
Ed.
That must be the cab.
Ed, tell them to wait a second.
Grandpa!
Now, Alice. Mr. Kirby, I think that if you listened to Tony, you would hear yourself saying the same things to your father 25 years ago. We all did it, and we were right. Who would have settled when they're young for what they eventually get? All those hopes and dreams, whatever happens to them, Mr. Kirby? Oh, it's only a lucky handful that can look back and say that they really ever did anything. I guess what I'm trying to say, Mr. Kirby, is that if I were you, I'd get a few more hours in on that saxophone.
Oh, I beg your pardon, but before I make the blinzies, how many will there be for dinner?
Duchess, this is Mr. Kirby and Mr. Kirby Jr., the Grand Duchess Olga Katrina.
How do you do? Now, before I make the blinzies, how many will there be for dinner?
Oh, I'd make quite a stack of them, Your Highness. Never can tell.
Good. The Tsar always told me, Olga, do not be stingy with the blinzies.
Speaking of dinner, Mr. Kirby, why don't you stay? We have lots of food.
Please do, Mr. Kirby. We have all that food that we were going to have last night. I mean, tonight.
You really should. It'd be a great chance for the families to get acquainted.
How about it, Father? Are we staying?
Well, if you care to, Tony, I'd love to.
Now, Mr. Vanderhoff, you can see about Alice sending away that cab.
How about it, Alice? It looks like it's going to be a pretty good crowd.
I'm staying for dinner, Alice. Don't you think the families ought to get to know each other?
Mr. Kirby? Tony? Oh, Tony!
Darling,
Oh, Grandpa, you're wonderful!
I've been telling you that for years.
Here are the letters that came for you, Grandpa. I left them in the icebox.
Oh,
How do you
government again.
Now, if you'll please step in my office, Miss Sycamore, I'd like to do a little dictating.
I better tell that cab to leave once and for all.
Well.
What is it, Grandpa?
The United States government apologizes. It seems that I died 8 years ago, and I don't owe my nickel. Remember Charlie the Milkman? Well, remember how we buried him under my name?
Yes.
I simply wrote the government and told them that they made a mistake. That Mr. Vanderhoff died 8 years ago, and that I was Mr. Vanderhoff Jr. It looks like they're apologizing, and I might even get a refund.
Why, Grandpa, you're an old crook.
Sure am.
Pardon me, Mr. Vanderhoff, but how'd you say you escaped all that income tax?
Tonight, my friends, you are going to eat right.
Well, hello then.
How do you do? What just happened?
He's just relaxing, that's all. Ed, why don't you play something?
All right.
Everything will be ready in just a moment. Please sit down.
You ever had Russian food, Mr. Kirby?
What's my favorite?
I knew everyone was going to love Russian food.
Why do you
See, in Russia, when we sit down to dinner, yes, the moment the children sit down, the men last, but the men get the food first. Then the women, then the children get the leftovers.
Quiet. Well, sir, here we are again. It looks like Alice and Tony are going to get married, and they sure do seem happy. Of course, all of the fireworks blew up, but that was Mr. DePenna's fault, not yours. Please, just remember that all we ask is to be happy and go in our own special way. Of course, we'd all like to keep our health, but as far as anything else is concerned, we will leave it up to you. Thank you.
Okay,
Grandpa, do you remember Hart from Russia? He has escaped again. He will get us off the
Time